Isang bulan na mo ron chumena matagni ko ni rongo ni bibo ko matagni ke misa po. Niya na isang bulan na sero ko ni sana. Chumena kino na mo ron chumay. Tu na sile. Isang bulan oyo Mr. Ben.
Kela po?
Na magkikira ni bibo mataka mo ni chikira mo ron buka may na ono kinadiwa na Bula FM.
Ang pala sile.
Good evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Tonight, a 5-year-old dies in house fire. Minister wants kindergartens in all schools. And dry spell takes a toll on sugarcane farmers. A 5-year-old boy is dead and 3 of his family members are admitted at the Lambasa hospital following a fire in their home early this morning. Police have confirmed that a 45-year-old woman and a 3-year-old boy are admitted in critical condition at the intensive care unit. A 20-year-old victim suffered minor burns and is also admitted at the hospital. The fire occurred at around 3 a.m. at Tuatua. FBC News understands there were 5 members of the family asleep in the home when the fire broke out. The 2-bedroom corrugated iron and timber house had only one door, which made escaping difficult. The National Fire Authority and police officials are trying to ascertain the cause of the fire. The Ministry of Education wants all primary schools to have a kindergarten centre by the end of 2017. The management of schools which don't have a kindergarten facility will have to find the money in the next 2 years. Chanel Sivan reports.
There are currently 322 schools which don't have a kindergarten. Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy is optimistic.
What does a kindergarten involve? A building infrastructure, one room to house close to 25 to 30 students, just one room. There are additional things that are needed which we can provide, which the student tuition fee can be used to provide.
He says the government believes that early childhood education is vital in developing the intellectual capital of this nation.
We have about 93 schools at the moment offering kindergarten teaching, but and we have noted that these students are prepared well, and when they enter into year 1, there's a lot of difference between these students and the others.
School management will also have to find teachers and ministry will pay them accordingly. Although kindergarten education is not compulsory, the ministry wants all children to get some form of preschool education to help them transit into year 1. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The prolonged dry weather is taking its toll in the sugarcane belt, with farmers now desperate for help. Ritika Pratap visited Raki Raki to find out how farmers and their families are coping with the drought.
Most of these areas have not had rain this year. What should be lush green sugarcane is instead withered and dry.
Due to the dry weather, the cane has started to dry and is weighing much less now. So if our production is low, we will get less money. We also don't have enough water to drink and can't even plant vegetables.
The situation here is very bad. Many people don't even have water to drink. I have requested the DO's office to cut water in the villages.
Farmers are worried that cane payment will be low this season because of poor harvest caused by lack of rain, mill breakdown and a lack of manpower.
This year I will only be harvesting 80 tons because of the dry weather, whilst last year I harvested 180 tons.
I won't be harvesting cane this year because all my cane has dried out. I have some cattle who I've left on the field so they can feed on the cane and survive.
I don't have any feed left for my livestock. I have around 20 cattle, 20 goats and some sheep. So I am feeding them some young cane that grew on the sides itself.
Farmers are trying to harvest their cane as quickly as possible and send it to the mill. However, some are facing labor shortages and worry that the longer they wait, the more loss they will suffer. Dry weather is favorable for harvesting, but this year, farmers have had to deal with a prolonged dry spell. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
The Fiji Broadcasting Corporation is hoping the government will review the public service broadcast fee in the 2016 budget. Speaking on FBC TV's For the Record program last night, Chief Executive Riaz Said Qayyum revealed that the $2.9 million annual fee isn't enough. EDWIN Nand reports.
Fiji Broadcasting Corporation produces about $22 million worth of radio and TV programs under its public service requirements. The government, in return, pays the broadcaster a little under $3 million.
I think we have come to a time where maybe that amount that we receive from government should be reviewed, because we can't, as a commercial company, continue to do this and yet try and be profitable at the same time, which is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be giving returns to our shareholders, which is the government of Fiji.
FBC Chief Executive Riaz Said Qayyum says they've been absorbing about $19 million in costs, but it's getting harder and slowing the company's growth. He says FBC has set the benchmark since launching TV services almost 4 years ago, and there's no going back.
It's amazing, the amount of contribution that we make to the public of Fiji is astounding. If sometimes when we collate this information together, we astounded ourselves. It's like, my God, we've done so much with so little. But if we are to continue to do this, if we are to continue to produce good programs and acquire good programs from overseas, it will cost money.
Fiji Broadcasting Corporation is a commercial company, meaning it's supposed to earn income, but things weren't made easy when competitors slashed their advertising rates.
This was right on par or slightly below, very slightly, and when I say slightly, maybe $5, $10 below in some cases, our competitors, who had been in the business, mind you, for almost 20 years before we had been, right? We started at that rate. 3 years later, we now know that our competitors are selling spots, the same spots, between which they used to sell between $250 to $300, and now selling at sometimes as low as $40 a spot, and sometimes on an average of about $80 a spot.
Said Qayyum also confirms that the company is ahead of payments on its $22 million loan from the Fiji Development Bank, which was used to refurbish its entire operations and launch TV services. EDWIN Nand, FBC News.
The Reserve Bank of Fiji, in partnership with Visa, has launched NFIT, the National Financial Inclusion Task Force website today. The online site is aimed at children and people working in the area of financial inclusion, highlighting financial services and products, and ultimately improving personal money management skills. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
How to manage your money better is now only a click away. Governor of the Reserve Bank, Barry Whiteside, today launching the National Financial Inclusion Task Force website.
The website has been designed and aimed at raising awareness and providing generic information to assist all Fijians in building and improving their financial knowledge, skills, behavior, and attitude to money.
And partnering up to make this all possible is the world-renowned company Visa. Visa's Nick Palfrey says the online site will feature practical financial information.
Some various tools, so calculators, games and interactive resources which will really help people of all ages, but mostly young people who of course need that education for later in life.
And while the website is designed for Fijians, development for the region is work in progress, according to the Regional Financial Capacity Advisor for the UN, Jeff Liu.
I see it as a model for the other countries, and I really like the practical aspect of it. Having calculators, having games, having interactive applications. We want to make learning fun, and we want to make learning exciting, and I think this is a good step.
An awareness campaign about NFIT in all 3 national languages will also be rolled out in the next few months to improve financial literacy. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, female corrections officers from the region share their work experiences.
घर संसार में आपका स्वागत है। आपका अपना छोटा सा स्वर्ग, जहाँ प्यार भरे रिश्ते पलते हैं, जहाँ हेल्थी रहने की सलाह दी जाती है, जहाँ हम आपको और भी सुंदर बनाते हैं और जहाँ स्वाद की सौगात भी है। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। सोमवार से शुक्रवार 9 से 12 तक रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर घर संसार में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
ऐसा सुंदर सपना अपना।
17 people charged with sedition appeared in the Lautoka Magistrates Court today. All accused were present with their legal counsel and applied for the matter to be transferred to the High Court. The application was made on the ground that the charge was an indictable one but triable summarily, with the accused persons having the right to choose whether they will be tried in the Magistrates or the High Court. The accused persons include Ratu Epeli Nyundamu, Sailasa Malani, Serima Rokondi, Nanise Kasami Nangusudha, and others. Apart from sedition, they're charged with inciting communal antagonism. The matter has been adjourned to 14th August 2015 for mention at the Lautoka High Court. Having an open discussion with your children about sex and other matters is not only healthy, but is the first step to prevention. Child psychologist Dr. Muriel Allen says it won't be easy or without awkward moments, but it is important to have the talk with your child at an early age. Many parents aren't talking to children about sexual abuse, even when the statistics make it crystal clear why they should be. It's a growing concern that needs to be addressed, not just by individual parents, but the community as a whole.
A whole community education. It's not that it is dirty, but it's just the right thing to do. And so the kids will be aware to protect themselves, and anybody that touches that, tell mommy or tell dad or tell whoever in the family they can trust.
We talk to our children about safety all the time. We cover stranger danger, pool safety, how to cross the street, and the list goes on. But when it comes to body safety, not many parents are open about the subject. It's important to give your child the tools and skills to protect themselves.
We teach our children to name their parts of the body. My toes, my knees, and we jump to my shoulders, my head, and you forget this part. Whereas if you teach them that this is, for example, whatever term you use it, for example, the genitalia, you just say that's the flower or the bird, whichever, that is a no-touch zone.
No parent wants to tarnish their child's innocence with such conversations, but with the growing numbers of sexual abuse and rape reports, the reality is that they will have to. It's never too early or too late to start.
The earliest that they can be taught to look after themselves, for example, they go toilet and be washed, the earliest time that they can do it by themselves, the better, because again they learn, nobody sees this, nobody touches this.
Talking with your child about sexual abuse may feel uncomfortable, but it's important to have the discussion. It won't reduce the number of child assaults, but hopefully will make your child less likely to become a victim. It will also increase the chances of children approaching their parents or someone they trust when a difficult or dangerous situation arises. Female corrections officers from around the region have been advised to take a holistic approach to the criminal justice system. Attorney General Ayeside Kayu made the comment at the opening of the 5th Pacific Island Women in Corrections Conference in Suva. Ali Kimbia reports.
Correction female officers from 6 Pacific Island countries are meeting for the very first time to, amongst other issues, see how they can collaborate in a practical manner.
What we can do in order to be able to have that on a continuous basis, because it's great to come to Suva and have a conference and, with some nice nightlife and shops and what have you. But at the end of the day, we should not just make it an annual event and then, forget about it and then, dust the books when you pick it up on the shelves. Oh, we went to Suva last year and this year we'll be going, next year we'll be going to Rarotonga, wherever it may be.
The conference will also be an opportunity for female officers to learn new things and improve the way they deliver services to inmates.
It's a means of sharing the best practice within the corrections, especially for our female corrections officers, and also how the inmates, the female inmates, have been looked after in regards to the thing is how the regional can work together.
Participants are excited about the conference agenda.
One of the benefits that I'm looking forward during this conference is to liaise with other Pacific Island regional women, particularly gaining their experience.
Looking forward to have some to go back with it to work our business department in Tonga.
Tonga, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, Nauru and Fiji are represented at the conference. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Sugarcane and vegetable farmers who use the Valimbasonga feeder road in Lambasa will no longer have to endure bad road conditions. The feeder road connects to the main Valimbasonga road. It has been graded and gravelled by the Fulton Hogan Highway Lambasa Depot. Depot Supervisor Jashneet Deo says farmers attempted to do their own maintenance but didn't have enough funds. Deo says road was previously too narrow, causing difficulties to farmers taking their vegetables to the market and cane to the sugar mill. Hairdressing students of the Fiji National University received first-hand training from an Australian makeup artist in Suva today. Anasleen Wright is here to help Miss World Fiji Brittany Hazelman prepare for December's Miss World pageant in China.
Here, this masquerade color blends.
Students were today shown the finer skills of applying makeup by Gold Coast professional Anseline Wright.
I think for Brittany herself, it's going to give her the skills to really when she goes to China, to really be a really good competitor. And for the students here, it's just going to open up a new market for them because it's more people that can come in, and because they are more knowledgeable about makeup, they can then apply it in such a way that everyone's going to want to come back to get their makeup done by the students.
Wright runs her own business known as Black Betty Beauty. Miss World Fiji Managing Director Lara Chung says Wright will work with Brittany Hazelman to master her makeup skills.
She really needs to know these looks in detail, so that is why we have her with the makeup artist here today. And we will not leave here until she knows exactly how to apply these looks. She has to know the techniques and implement the timing, because when she goes to the international event, they never know, or sometimes you don't know what's going to happen.
24-year-old Hazelman will represent Fiji in December's Miss World pageant in China. Shriti Prasad, FBC News.
Sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up, John McKee assures that fitness is not a problem with the Flying Fijians, and Skipper Cup competition heats up with teams scrambling for a semi-final spot. We'll have these stories and more after the break.
If you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Fitness is not a factor in the Vodafone Flying Fijians' weak finishes in the Pacific Nations Cup. Changes are expected in Fiji's final pool clash against Japan at 2 p.m. on Thursday in Toronto. A win will guarantee Fiji's spot in the first and second place PNC playoff next week. It'll be an exciting finish to the Skipper Cup round robin this weekend, with 4 teams vying for a spot in the semi-finals. Competition leaders Nandi have already secured a Final 4 position, with the race for the 3 remaining spots still wide open. Talen Daudakadaka reports.
Races up after, but
Suva will be one of the 4 teams vying for a semi-final spot this weekend. The capital city side started well in the competition but stumbled towards the end, with their last performance ending in an 8-6 loss to Nandi. Suva and Nandrunga only need a win this week to secure semi-final spots. Namosi is in a fragile position as Naitasiri has 2 games at hand. The Hillmen need bonus point wins in both matches and overtake Namosi in 4th spot to qualify for the semi-finals. It will be more than just pride that these teams will be battling for this weekend. Apart from semi-final spots, Tailebu, Maduata, Obalau and Tabua will be aiming to finish strong because the bottom 4 teams will be relegated to the B division next season. Tsale Dodakadaka, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Football Association is urging fans to purchase their tickets early for the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants. Pre-tournament sales started today, and with thousands expected to make their way to Ratu Dakambao Park, Fiji FA is advising fans to get their tickets before game day.
My advice to them is if they should make efforts to come early or buy during the week to avoid the queues. We realize that Friday is a working day and many people will rush to the ground after work, and therefore if they are able to buy the tickets in advance, that will avoid their delays at the gate.
The tournament begins 1 p.m. Friday with Lautoka taking on Tailebu Naitasiri. Meanwhile, the Nanranga football side has dropped Chris Neil Dutt from its BOG squad. Nanranga football president Vijay Singh says they have opted for players with a commitment to earn the Stallions jumper. Singh has included Fiji under-23 rep Ravinesh Das, Muhammad Taslim, John Rans Jr., Don Raj, Anis Kem and Apisalome Turuva in his squad. Nanranga will take on Lambasa at 5 p.m. Friday in its first game. The Fiji Football Association will hold its final Southern Division trial for the national futsal team. The first trial was held last week, but more players are expected to turn up tomorrow. Rohit Deo has more.
Futsal players will get another chance to impress national selectors for a place in the extended squad for the World Cup qualifiers in Tahiti next year. After a successful first trial, an increase in numbers is expected tomorrow.
This is the last trials we're calling for the southern side, that is tomorrow. And secondly, it doesn't mean that the doors are closed for the interested players. It will be open till November, I would say, but the trials will be done for southern side.
Khan was impressed with the talent he saw during the first trials.
I'd like to thank those participants who were there before last week. Very encouraging, very talented. I would say there was about 40 to 45 numbers, and out of that about 50% we have picked, and that's we can say that the raw materials we're talking about has vast potential in futsal.
He says futsal is the best place for the players to develop themselves.
We are up to caliber because if we compare with my 11-a-side players, the football players, these players, the raw materials are vast potential they have to represent the national team.
Similar trials will be held in the Western and Northern Division next month. The trials begin at 6 p.m. at the National Hockey Centre in Suva tomorrow. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
That's it from sports this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Real Estate Licensing Board Review Committee has dealt with 9 cases at its meeting. Real B Chair Dr. Abdul Hassan says most of the issues related to the deposits held by real estate agents who have not refunded money to the prospective buyers. The potential purchasers could not buy properties because their loan applications were declined. Dr. Hassan says in one case the deal fell through due to the death of the buyer, while in another an agent deposited money in his personal account. The chair says they've suspended the agents involved and directed them to refund deposits. Cloudy periods with brief showers were experienced over the eastern and interior parts of the larger islands today. Elsewhere, mainly fine weather prevailed. A broad east to southeasterly wind flow prevails over Fiji, bringing cool days and cooler nights. And in temperatures, Suva and Savu Savu recorded the lowest temperatures at 26 degrees. Bai and Lambasa recorded 29, while Nandi and Lautoka had the highest on 30 degrees. Tomorrow we can expect brief showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine moderate southeast winds, fresher times and rough seas. And the further outlook for Wednesday, some showers over the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine, cool at night. And the main points again. A 5-year-old boy is dead and 3 family members are hospitalized after a house fire in Tuatua, Lambasa. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says all primary schools must have a kindergarten by 2017, and FBC says it's subsidizing public service programs to the tune of $19 million. Now to our poll segment. And the results from last week. 93% said yes to the setting up of a sex offenders registry. This week we're asking, should more youth be encouraged to enter the local film industry? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spade. Good night.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulabanaga. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.